America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. Right. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
And once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the chain.
It has nothing to do with the American people.
Nothing.
It is all about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And through that collaboration, 2022 and 2021, part of a team that reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on April 29th. Yeah, next time you see all of us together, it's going to be May. But we have like 4 or 5 days, well, about 3 or 4 days of straight rain coming through the Toronto area. So we're going to enjoy it, but no better place to be on a Friday night than hanging out with Aisha K. Staggers, Jill Jones, and Laura LaLa Key. What's going on, family?
Good.
Good.
Good to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you. And it's for those who don't know, you're going to find this has been quite a week. This has been quite a week. So before we get into our main conversation, everyone's good today? Everyone's relaxed? We're ready to chop it up this evening?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. And we're going to be doing at least one new thing tonight, but I'm going to announce it a little bit into the conversation. But we're already broadcasting on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. And in the next few minutes, we're going to put a snippet of this on Instagram Live. We're not going to put the whole thing, but just a little teaser out there to, tell people what they're missing on their Saturday night. So usually we spend a little while, but, actually, this is what we talk about. Before we went live, we talked about Oreo cookies.
Yes.
Okay. How if those who love Oreos, how do you eat your Oreos?
I unscrew mine and then lick the inside part first and then eat the cookie, Do
you never dip them in milk?
Because I don't want the bits of a cookie to go into my thing. Like today I ate those little pirouette cookies, that you stick inside like a root beer float, or you could do it in your coffee. But the thing was, those I dunk. And I do it quickly because I dunk those.
You don't want the crumbs. You do it quickly.
Yeah, I'm like, I do it quick. I did it so quick that I ate like 8 of them. And for 1 cup of coffee, it is terrible.
What?
I gotta slow down. Yeah, my whole quota of sugar in one go was done. So I'm trying to watch my sugar these days. I consume way too much. But I had heard about these Japanese Oreo cookies. I didn't know if anybody had tried them. I hear that but LaLa has the best. She's been holding out on all of us because she told us that she's getting them fresh from the bakery, essentially.
I do. I used to work for Nabisco. I used to, out of all my stupid corporate jobs, because I never liked any of my jobs, Nabisco was the best. I used to route the drivers. That was my job.
Wow.
And and the drivers loved me and I loved them, but we would always get everything long before it hit the shelf. So if you saw the Christmas Oreos, the ones that they dumped in the fudge and stuff, we would have those at early June and they would be straight from the bakery. So I can't eat just anything off the shelf because after having them directly from the bakery, you can't eat them any other way.
Really?
So I unscrew mine. And I like to lick the center, but I do like a little bit of milk. Sometimes I'll just duck mine in there if I'm in the mood. But
nice.
so I'm telling you, all the good stuff came straight from the bakery. I can't get it off the shelf anymore.
Go figure. You were so lucky.
I was. I also gained a hell of a lot of weight. The struggle was real.
Aisha? Are you a Orioles fan? You have to unmute yourself. You're muted.
No wonder.
There we go.
We weren't allowed to eat Oreos when I was little.
Oh,
we weren't allowed to eat them because they had lard. And so we had to have the Sunshine knockoffs, Hydrox.
They're actually not bad.
Made me so mad. No, they're not. But it just made me so mad until finally Oreo started using vegetable shortening. Yeah. Then finally Oreo started using vegetable shortening, so we were able to eat them. But that was like when I was like in my 20s.
Yeah.
There's one out now that's like a vegan one. And we had those the other day. I forget who makes them, but they look like Oreos, but they're not. They're gluten-free. And my husband actually was eating them and he said, these are really good. Mm-hmm. So I got to remember the name next time I go. Hopefully I'll see them in the store and then get them because, it was surprising because I'm so used to Oreos. I tend to see a black and white cookie like that and go, it won't be an Oreo, but this is tolerable.
Yeah, I'm way biased.
Yeah, I know.
Well, unfortunately, family, you didn't hear our pre-conversation before we went live. If that story ever gets out live, that would be a classic. But I forget. Jill used a phrase, and I forget what the phrase is now. LaLa, what was the phrase that had me cracked up that Jill used?
I can't remember that fast.
Do you remember, Jill?
No, about.
Of course you wouldn't.
Oreos.
No, it was about the story of driving
in the car.
And you, and that you were speaking with your girlfriend about.
I said, how many people have you slept with? And we had a whole box of like Oreo cookies. And by the time we got to the destination, I had basically finished all of the Oreos. So do you think Oreo should do an ad campaign that way? And she was going, and then there was this one and that one. I can't remember his name, but he had like curly hair or something. And I was just like eating the cookie. It was so funny. Yeah.
That would make such a good commercial.
It would, right? Women really owning their everything about themselves. And it's just, because, it's so taboo in those days. Women were supposed to be real good girls, whatever. And we started off in Hollywood and ended up in Westwood, which is a good distance in her car. She was dropping me off and I just kept like going, oh, wow. Really?
And we won't use the person's name, but what are they now?
Very Christian.
Yes.
I mean, really. I mean, the only person who hadn't visited her, I guess finally she got around to Jesus. It was like, wow.
What a way of putting that, Jill.
He was the last Oreo, okay? I don't know. She was like, and then there was Satan. And, Demon 1, Demon 2, Demon 3. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
My God.
I
was talking to somebody. I'm really a friend of mine as well. They were talking about listening to the Bible, or they were listening on audio or reading it again. And then she was like, Genesis is how do I say? I was like, mean. Like, it was like, golly, if you were, I mean, you would never start that book. If you want to get people to become a Christian, you don't start with Genesis, guys, because it was man, it was I mean, I said, wow, it's kind of like if I was like working on a project and things just started to fall apart and I just went, God, fuck this, and get rid of it. I'm starting all over again. It was just like, man, no, really, no offense. I'm not trying to be blasphemous.
Stop reading it now, right?
No, really. Oh my God. Well, maybe he'll throw in some gin and juice or something, because the First Testament is harsh. It's just harsh. It was like, who is this God they speak of? Because, and I'm convinced they've left out some books. I'm convinced.
Well,
this is not it. This is not the full story.
Let's get off.
Yeah.
We might as well start.
I'm not trying to be blasphemous. God forgive me, but it's not the best depiction.
Okay, well, let's do the shout outs to family. Jen is in the house. Hey Jen, what's going on? Cinnamon Canela is in the house. Blue Rains is in the house.
And Lilith went missing. I'm sorry. Lilith became like a Dateline episode. She just went missing. Like, folks still looking for her.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Fitness IQ, technically man-made. All right, and she is in the house. Good to have you here. And okay, Aisha just told us
John.
Lightning has just struck. Okay, so Aisha, does that mean you're going to be not with us?
Oh, she's back.
Oh, she's back. Hi guys. Hey John.
She's got her Jane Jetson.
How are you? For me,
she's doing her Jane Jetson look. It's that holding up the mask. Remember?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Aisha, should we get started? I think Aisha's having some technical. Yes. Okay. She said, yeah. All right. Okay. So last week, though everything went on, the most important thing that went on, what was the most important thing that went on last week? The most thing was free Jill, hashtag free Jill Jones. So the back channel conversation we're having. So Jill, tell us what happened.
So I was, really just scrolling through Twitter. And I saw Laura Ingraham, the woman who does the Sig Heil for Hitler, like during the Trump campaign. She's a Fox News commentator. And she was talking about Joe Biden or something. I don't even really remember what the post was. I just hate these. I just don't like these people so much that I just went, yeah, sure. Okay, chicken head. Like with her, like, blah, blah. She just talks, right? And then, so like the next morning, I like wake up and, go look to see. And it basically is like, you violated terms, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I would click to start the clock because you have a countdown period. And then it started with 4. And then it kept recycling itself and going back and starting over. And then finally, it ultimately landed with me having to sit out 11 hours. And then I restarted it again. And then it said you're locked out, and we don't know basically when we're gonna it'll take a couple of weeks. So I was like, okay, for chicken head, I was really like just shocked that. So then I was like going, wow, that was on her page. I said this, and she's got a lot of MAGA nuts, those little they're just screwy. So I said, and I bet they look up at Urban Dictionary because they just do that. We know how these people think that if they look it up, they're in the know. And, Urban Dictionary, by the way, is wrong for all of you all looking, at least for my generation. Chickenhead does not mean that. But yeah, this is why woke is all twisted. We are living in the Tower of Babel because why? People got Google. That's what it is. Google is the Tower of Babel. It has people who they don't understand anything. So basically I had to tell Aisha and LaLa, like, look, I don't know when I'm going to ever get this back. And then they tweeted it out to everybody. And then people were like, people found it funny that I said chicken head. I guess it's such an era thing, too. It is. It's an era. It's like my age group. So I was like, oh, Elon. I mean, like, really? This dude is like about free speech, and you cringe, and you guys quiver at chicken head. These untrained people, moderators. What are they? Gen Z people who don't understand nothing? Like, really? Golly.
He's tweeting about free speech today.
It's a good thing I didn't say she smelled like bologna,
I'm just going to verify that Jill's telling the truth because I don't know. Here we go. Yeah. We've temporarily limited some of your account features. What happened?
I couldn't do anything, and then I couldn't see anything.
Well, you know what happened too? The Prince Twitter thread, the 1999 thread. I knew that was the best way to get people to get the word out. So there is a back channel DM thread with everyone who is on that thread. So I posted there first.
Cool. And I think you guys were the reason that I got out of jail quickly, to be honest. I'll tell you, Dr. Vibe, I think they did it. And I don't know how, because it was just so clownish. Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt, but you guys actually helped me. And John, this young man, John, who's on here tonight.
Yeah. But they're the ones who started with the Free Jill Jones. They started talking about it in the thread, and then they went to post it, which was funny. It was so funny. And
she sent me a text, Free Jill Jones and the president thing. And I was like, I can't see anything.
Jones for president. Yeah, that was it. It was Jill Jones for president.
I couldn't even see. After a while, they locked me all the way out. So I was just sitting around like, oh my God. And then she's like, oh yeah, there's a hashtag, Free Jill Jones, laughing. I was like, what? Really? Oh my goodness. It was cute. It was very nice.
The graphic was epic.
But the Jill Jones for president was so funny.
I saw it today and I was like, wow, the font looks good. It's actually very conceivable. I've been looking for a new job, and I might be the best person for it. I just got to start raising some money for it. And,
$1 billion this campaign cycle.
That, or I want to be the president of over Paisley Park estate. Running that, let me do it. I'm yes, it's amazing. Jill Jones 2024. Yeah, I've got ideas. I've got big ideas for all of us, even for Princess Estate too.
So what does everyone think about social media now?
I was pretty much off of it for like the last week and a half because I was getting ready for this work conference. And even though I was working all those days that I told you, all those hours, it was the most calming thing ever to get back to the hotel room and just be like, yeah, nothing bothered me today. There was no negative. Everything about my day was positive, and there was no negative stuff going on, and there's just no nastiness.
Just want to interrupt for a second. John says it's literally unbelievable they locked you for that. With all the hate spewed on Twitter, and they come after you for chicken head, and now he's saying, please run the Prince Estate, Jill.
I know, right? Yes.
It's all the help it can get.
LaLa, your thoughts on social media after our Free Jill Jones campaign has come off the ground?
Oh, well, now that I'm for. Let's get her in office. Let's go ahead and let Aisha got voted in as vice president.
I know, it's true. And I think that LaLa should be the Secretary of State because she's so diplomatic.
Yeah.
She makes Madeleine Albright look rude, No,
honestly, I think maybe Attorney General.
Yeah.
Get some of this stuff done.
So Jill, if you were elected president, who'd be the first person you'd fire? I wonder who.
Garland.
But you wouldn't have to fire him because remember he goes out with the president.
That's true.
Yeah.
But Chris
not
Ray,
quick enough. I'd tell them after, like, get him out now. I want, he's dust, Yeah, no.
But Chris Wray could be fired, and he should be. I don't know why Biden's holding on.
There's just too many people to fire. You know, either I'd have to go. I think I'd have to get a bonfire together, a Guy Fawkes thing, Wicker Man thing going on the other side. It'd be the only way to set a principle here, like to really go establish my. Here I am. Yeah, can you believe those like freaks of January 6th were trying to hang Mike Pence?
I know.
You know, there's more footage that came out where they're literally talking about this, like as if you're going to say, "Hey, pick me up some potato chips when you go to the store." You know? Lay's, it's fine. Yeah, we're. Has he finished? Oh, like bring Mike Pence out so we can just hang him and then get on with it. I was like, oh my God, who are these?
Wow. Well, we have the great pleasure now of having someone. Oh, look at this! Black Beauty's going. Dr.
Press secretary would be awesome. Yes. Although you would come out and go, I don't know if I can repeat this because I'm going to use some new words instead. What the president has said. I don't use these words,
I
but
think
you'll get the gist.
I think it would be the job of my lifetime to be correcting Jill Jones' comments. I think that it would be worthy a job to have, and I know that I'd be sweat boy sweat.
I know, right?
Right? I'd be going.
No.
Oh boy! All right.
Remember that skit from from Keenan and Peele with Key and Peele when he was talking about Obama needing an anger translator?
Yes.
You would be the reverse of that for Jill.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm Jill's anger translator.
I always thought, I gotta say, I always used to wish that Donald Trump, somebody would match his energy when they were asking him questions. The closest was Acosta. But I do believe when you match somebody's energy, it can get heated quick. It can just be like, what'd you say? No, you're stupid. Oh, so how stupid are you when you walked in and decided to talk to the other president from Israel like that or whatever? It's like matching. People need to start matching Donald Trump's energy because he hires people that match his, like that Tacopino.
Yeah,
that he matches Trump's energy. He likes that.
He likes that.
So Fitnance IQ Cam's with LOL, and she goes, "I agree with you, Black Beauty." So is that a compliment for me, Fitnance IQ?
Yes, I think they want you to be the new, not the new Jen Psaki.
All right, and then Paul Katz says, "You all are making me laugh tonight, but that free Jill Jones hashtag on the screen is taking me LOL."
Me too. It's funny. It's like, oh my God.
So Jill, we know. So I'm just going to throw it out to the family here who's watching live on the replay. Would you be interested in joining us on a platform where we could all just communicate in between shows?
You know what? I will say that I after you told me about this, I agree. I think it's important to consolidate. Like what I learned from being the Twitter ban is I'm actually okay with the circle. And it's kind of like there was one time I worked for a restaurant in New York and I was like the head bitch in charge. No, I was the head, like working on the marketing team, which dealt with reservations. And all we did was the first 3 weeks kept telling everybody it was booked, had doorman, boom, nobody could get in. Place was empty as hell. I mean, and I kid you not, I got so many gifts and presents sent to me. Please get us in, please. All sorts of people, dignitaries, artists, singers, musicians, empty as hell. DJs were coming in. And we were like, if you go out here and say anything, it's going to be a bust, and you just whatever. So the click was tight and it worked. It got, and this is what I feel new, really cool social media groups. We need those kind of cool, like I want to go to like somebody's club or in your house. Yep. I want to be someone to host me.
Okay.
now. I'm tired of this free for all because I want something special. I want hors d'oeuvres on a plate.
Jill, so Jill sounds like she's a thumbs up. Aisha, you good with that?
Yeah.
And also LaLa?
Totally.
Okay, so we're gonna, after we finish our live show, I'm gonna give them a little show about what it's all about, and we're gonna see about it. And Fitness IQ Cam says it's always a compliment. Thank you, Fitness IQ Cam. And also she says, am I talking about Discord? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Discord, that platform. So we're gonna talk about it, and hopefully by next week, if you want to join, you'll have to contact me directly via email, and we'll make you part of the community, and we can continue our conversations during the week. We don't have to worry about getting banned and all that sort of stuff. We're going to take it to another platform. So good. Live polling. All right. So let's go to our next conversation topic. And this happened last Monday, but it seems like it took forever. Right. And so Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon let go. I think it was in less than 3 hours, both of them gone. And another thing here, we're doing news. If we're doing some of this live right now on Instagram Live, so people can hear us. They can only see me, but we're broadcasting for a little bit on Instagram Live. So what do people think about Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon being let go?
I told you so about Don Lemon.
You did. You saw it, Aisha.
when they canceled his primetime show and put him on the mornings, and it wasn't working, I knew that. I told you. I said that this is his way. This is the way to get him out. And I foresaw that part, but the Tucker Carlson one, that was some hot tea there.
Yeah.
I woke up Monday morning real early, about to get ready, getting dressed for this first day of the conference, and I saw that, and I was like, what? But I realized it was more financial than it was on principle.
Yeah, but
what more did he have to do to get fired except for, they're saying it's because, he called a woman the C word. No, that's not why. It's because of these lawsuits, and they just shelled out $787 million behind a lot of his shenanigans.
But also, I think another part of it too is that it seems that in some of the documents, the way some of his thoughts about the Fox News staff and the management too, he did not have many good things to say about them. But yeah, Tucker Carlson gone, like, wow.
And they said that they had there were some redacted comments that they got in Discovery with the Dominion stuff, and they had to they wanted to see what they were. They were really, apparently they were supposed to be very, very damning. And that's another reason why they just got rid of him.
All right. Yeah. Well, there's some people jumping on Instagram Live. Hello. One of them being somebody named Realty Goddess, and DJ Dr. L Speaks, Elemental Notes, Quentin Walcott. Yeah. So you're getting a snippet, at least audio-wise, and just me and the camera here, of State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. I'm only going to be broadcasting a little snippet. If you want to catch the whole conversation, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, and you catch the full thing either live or on the replay. And Jill Jones Music is on IG too. Hello, Jill.
I know. Hello.
So there you go. So what else? LaLa, Tucker Carlson, Jill, Tucker Carlson.
I was so glad to see him gone. But I know for sure that there was other things behind that. I mean, he ticked somebody off. He was nothing but the little ram, they used the little pawn to make it seem like they're doing something. He really did something to tick off Murdoch. So therefore, that's why he had to go. But it was good to see that. Now, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen, because let's face it, we all know that once somebody gets put off of their shows, especially in these media outlets, someone else is really ready to scoop them up. So it's really interesting for me to see how they're going to land. But, I don't know. There's always coops, and he always can have his own show. I mean, anybody can have their own show nowadays.
Well, let's look at it this way. He had the most watched program on primetime news.
Right, but demons always pop another head when one gets popped and killed off. There's going to be another little demon head.
I don't know.
Well, remember, Bill Wiley had that hour and had the most viewed show before Tucker. Got rid of Bill Riley, put Tucker in that spot.
They all go to the boneyard. I thought they were going to go. I agree, like Aisha, because Bill O'Reilly, and they ultimately go to the boneyard if they want to get that little money that they're going to walk with in their package. They're going to keep their mouths shut. And here's the interesting thing. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how Fox essentially makes its money, because there have been a ton of advertisers who have left Fox.
Yeah.
They've been making their money because of these deals that they have with the cable companies. And we've all been hot and heavy trying to remove those. If we can get rid of those, Rupert Murdoch will be clipping his own toenails. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to, or at least looking at those long, ugly things. My whole thing is that I feel like that's how Tucker will understand who's down with him and who isn't when he's on his own. Because ain't nobody going to take the liability that he becomes, because he really is a liability there. And now that they've set precedents with this defamation suit, oh my gosh, it opens up the doors for a lot. And they're not done yet, because there's that other company that's smart. Yeah, they're suing Fox still. And then there's another
bigger lawsuit.
It's bigger, and they don't. Yeah. So I think before he lands, we're going to see a couple of things happen first, and everybody's going to get their ducks in a row.
Okay, just to catch up, I'm multi-purpose here. I want to shout out to Rondell Music. Dr. LJ Speaks. Tuckism is gone. So long. Bye-bye. Dr. LJ Speaks says we'll get to Don Lemon comment in a moment. Hey, hello, ACBN Media. ACBN_media from the Harry Jerome Awards. Why are you?
Oh, nice.
You get the Harry Jerome. Well, that's a whole other conversation, I know. And Carlos Phoenix, good to see you here. But Tucker Carlson has a large audience, and I don't know, it may take time.
They don't pay the bills, though. They were just stupid bodies that showed up. now it's like you have a party, and now you're asking people to pay for the venue. You know what I mean? It was free before, and everybody knows how a free party goes down versus when you start charging for something. People are like, you know what? I got to go. I got things to do. So he could maybe count on maybe a quarter, not even a quarter of those people. We know that from social media numbers. How many people really show up that you can count on? Those 3 million are just people who are homebound. They have nothing else to do.
You know what's so funny, though? Remember the whole time during the quarantine, and him and Trump were making fun of Joe Biden recording from his basement. And now Tucker releases this video about his firing from his basement.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is he going to call Hunter and see if he can get his kids to get a scholarship for college now?
Is he going to call Hunter and say, can you get me a job, and I'll tell people to leave you alone about the laptop?
That's right.
Right. They jammed him.
Did he also have not so good words to say about the former president too?
Yeah, he said he couldn't stand him. He couldn't stand being around Donald Trump. Yeah, he if Donald Trump was on fire, Tucker wouldn't put him out.
Yeah,
he really was an adversary. He just, oh my God, he has no friends.
Two-headed snake. That's all it was.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
People didn't care.
He's two-headed snake.
Yeah, and the people didn't care. And the reason that, someone said this, I forgot, I think it was like Jordan Klepper was talking to some people about these MAGA people. And one of the reasons that those people did not care whether Tucker Carlson said something bad about him off the air as opposed to on, and they still watched, knowing this, one, because they weren't getting this information that this was the stuff. Fox did not cover that part of it. Fox never covered any of the release. So these are people who sit and watch Tucker Carlson. They sit and watch Fox News or Newsmax 24 hours a day. They don't even watch regular television.
Yeah.
They don't watch anything else but that. But then the other part of it is that we could all look at ourselves and have political party affiliations, and we vote this political party because they stand for our rights. These people have internalized the MAGA stuff as who they are. So any attack or anything that they feel is an attack, they take it personally, as if somebody's attacking them personally, not their political positions. And so what Tucker Carlson did was that he tuned into the fact that this is who you are, and I'm going to spoon food you all this stuff to make you take it in and see who you are, and anytime, and tell you that anytime somebody says something against that, it's a personal attack on you. That's why those people did, even now going on social media, they see that this is coming out, but they don't care because it is who they are.
They're always going to believe the lie. There's so many that believe the lies now that it doesn't matter if you bring out the truth, because they're always going to say it's something like, oh, well, that was a conspiracy. They're just trying to make you think that this happened. But no, they're lost. They're lost. And that many people are lost.
I think we need Hollywood to give some green lights again to some actual shows for this bro mentality, like really put them on network television, because if you even look at what's on there now, it's very sparse. I think I was going, wow, there's nothing on network television anymore, these stupid reality shows, but that keeps a lot of women engaged.
Yeah.
But it's still on a cable type of program. But things like, they have to figure this out, because when Monday Night Football comes and all these kind of things, there's a big drop off for Fox as well. So then you're just getting these errant, people who are like sitting in chairs at home, and they're older. It's an older audience that supports Tucker. He had old boomers, my age group, supporting his ass. I don't see many young people of his peers really, unless they want something from him, but he has nothing that anybody wants now. He's not important anymore, and he can't get it. So in my mind, I think that Hollywood or whoever, they make shows and stuff again, you need to start bringing back a lineup on evening television, because there've been a few shows that they've been throwing out there, and maybe they'll catch on and you will see a drop. Because how much news can people keep watching? It's like this 24/7. What kind of fucking boring person are you? God, get a life.
We have to realize where these two habits came from: the constant absorption of news 24/7, and then the lack of TV, network TV. The first is after, because we didn't remember, network news used to go off at 11 o'clock. Period.
Exactly.
Well, even before then, like 9, 10
TV
o'clock. But it was after 9/11 that they started doing the 24-hour news cycle. And then in 2008, with that writer's strike, all the networks went to this reality TV. And it's like, for some reason, they cannot figure out how to exercise it.
Okay.
It's just time to go.
Let me just jump in, because we got some people who have jumped in on Instagram. ACB Therapist, thank you for joining. Evelyn B74, Kinte Ferguson, long time no chat. So what you're watching here on Instagram Live, you're catching a snippet audio-wise, the state of things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. And if you want to catch it the full thing, because we're only going to be on after this conversation topic, we're shutting it down. Go to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel. You can watch the full conversation. So one point here we have on YouTube, bacchanal. How about
yes. Great word. I love that word.
But there you go. And Black Beauty says, I'm lost for words if Fox allowed Tucker Carlson to continue to go on exaggerating facts like he did. I wonder what kind of contract he had. Yep, glad to see Carlson gone.
But he wasn't exaggerating facts, though, Black Beauty. He was flat out lying. But he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything that other people at the network did. That was their thing. Because remember, they did try throughout different periods to give people actual facts. And what did they see? They saw their ratings plummet. So they went for the ratings over facts. And they've been doing it for the longest time, going back to when they had Bill O'Reilly. But also, remember, Glenn Beck used to be on there all the time, flat out lying.
God, that's a blast from the past.
So they've always been liars. The craziest part now is, why has the FCC allowed them to be on TV and pretending that they're a news program, and even marketing them? They never put any kind of parameters on them, any kind of to always, but here's the thing. I mean, it's almost like the reverse Onion. It's like a parody. It's a satirical thing. It's you know, Fox is almost as legit as fucking Benny Hill. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like a SNL sketch. It might as well be, you know, it's just not funny. I mean, but it is fiction, total fiction. And these people don't believe that it is fiction.
No.
And we have this, you know, people, honestly, I believe in the First Amendment, but I also believe that we need limits in some respects, because if Fox News can sit and call itself a news organization, it gives them ample room to use the freedom of the press part of the First Amendment. And they're not a news organization. They follow no news ethics. They are really an entertainment company. And I wonder if that's the backdoor way that they got in, Jill, through the FCC, to be able to say what it is that they want to say. Is this posing as a news organization when they know they're entertainment?
Well, I'm trying to figure out if there's some kind of congruency here, something feeding into what, you know, he is a foreigner. He was given citizenship by Ronald Reagan, right? But, you know, it's so interesting. When I was in Brooklyn recently, do you know who that the people buying up all the properties are Australian with a 5-year hold on it?
I remember, yeah.
And now here it is. And I'm like going, okay, so what are they all up to? We're in some real, you know, I just can't believe that these people are like foreign and they're adversaries. They've been adversarial with the United States. Why would you clown the country in such a way? And you were given fucking citizenship. Like, bitch, who are you? Like, Rupert Murdoch has no respect for this country. And even his little kids, they can go live in China. But no, because he has money, but it doesn't matter, because his kids will have to carry that whole energy with them. You know, how people look at them. They sadly will, you know, and that's why they'll just become what he is. But the reality is, why would you be given something and you have such little gratitude for being able to live here? And instead, you'd rather cause so much harm to people. Like Rupert Murdoch, look what he's done to the Prince Harry and that whole thing. Why is he such a nasty human being? Like, it's really bad.
Let me we're gonna flip it over to Don Lemon in a second. We got some more comments. Actually, Indie Radio says hello. Indie Radio is watching on Instagram, now is watching on YouTube. And Black Beauty says, I didn't want to call the man a liar. I imagine him trolling YouTube, looking for anyone to sue to call him who calls him a liar.
A liar. Yeah.
Okay. Also,
but the burden of slander is very difficult to prove. So he's a liar. I mean,
like, where's the lie? Because he has
I call him a
lied.
liar. Tell me, you know, prove to me that I'm wrong, Carlson.
Yeah.
All right. Will to Rise is joining us on Instagram Live. Was hanging out with him on a conference today, a peace conference online today. Miss Akuti. Hello, Mr. Jamaican. Welcome. Welcome. And we have some more comments on YouTube. Carlson had great readings, but didn't equate with the advertising revenue. Ad revenue is so fragmented now, and some advertisers didn't want to be associated with his lies and hate.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
as you were saying before, John, that they made this deal with the cable companies where they get like double or triple what regular companies
now they want triple. They're asking for more, and the reason is because, and that's how they survive. You know, so they could put people on their station at this point who play jacks all fucking day long, and you know, and basically it doesn't matter because they're getting their money from every time I pay my cable bill. They get a percentage of that, and I don't want them on it. There's nothing about Fox that I'm interested in. Nothing.
And there's nothing you can get rid of the channel. You can't get rid of the channel. I call. I know. I don't watch this channel. Why do I have to include it? Just like that in the 60 sports channels. Which is why I'm doing more
a la carte stuff. Yeah. A la carte TV is the way to go.
We got rid of cable altogether. I mean, we're streaming family only. And we even set up my mother-in-law on just streaming. And she's 86 years old and happy as she can. And being that she doesn't have that cable bill anymore, and she can watch whatever she wants to.
I stream, but even YouTube TV carries Fox inside its package. So, and that's, to me, not, I want them gone. So my whole take with Don Lemon and Tucker, by the way, was
no, but I want to interrupt. I think Don Lemon's a separate conversation.
Well, for me,
ways,
I just want to say that I thought the timing of when Chris decided to do it was really shady, because in my mind, it was like, was he trying to help Fox out by creating a distraction? And also, if you look, they were always saying that Tucker is leaving, and they had no problem using a black man and saying he was terminated, he was fired, he was like, let go. He had to get out of the building now, and that little
security to get him.
And I'll tell you something, that little Caitlin Collins, she's quite the little climber for a 29-year-old. She's come very far, who they had on that morning show, Poppy Harlow, because I don't know what it is about CNN, but you won't catch me watching it anymore. And I don't care that they hired Gayle King. I just think like, oh, so one for the other. No, miss me with that.
So Carlos Phoenix on Instagram, and who knows a lot about this injury, said,
oh shit, I got CNN on right now. Let me turn it off. The correspondence dinner, damn.
Oh no.
MSNBC's playing it.
Okay. Yeah. So Carlos Phoenix says Fox is part of many channels that come of a package, so you have to get all of it via cable rules.
But we're trying to get rid of that, because with streaming rules, there's a whole new opening here, right? I'm doing a lot of a la carte stuff. I don't want Fox on here. I think the more we argue about it, maybe we can do something. I don't know.
But the rule is because of their contract. They enforced a rule because of the contract they made, because they otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to pay them that contract if they didn't force it on people. It's like with
that's interesting.
It's like what they tell you when you try to say, hey, I've got like 60 sports channels and I do not watch them. Can I get rid of them? And they tell you, no, it's by law you have to carry them. There's no law in the Constitution or any law written in our United States, code of laws that says you are required to buy sports channels that you don't watch. Right. It's a law that they establish.
It's like Coke or Pepsi or a pack of ketchup, Heinz or another one. It's like you kind of like, depending on what agreement was made, you get saddled with it. Damn.
And remember, the FCC
has done nothing.
There is a lobby that heavily lobby the FCC for these rules. So believe that Fox people have their lobbyists there. Believe that the sports networks have their lobbyists there. Yeah. And this is how they make those requirements.
Okay. All right. On the Instagram fly, Steve Tees. Hello, Steve Tees. Has great teas, offers teas from all around the place, and can ship them down to the United States.
Tea,
yes.
Like Lapsang Souchong?
I don't know. I hope she heard you, but they have like whole numbers and they've developed them
Russian Caravan. It's the only Russian I like.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she can tell what types of tea, but they do them right on site.
I'm always looking for a Lapsang Souchong.
All right.
My favorite.
And then it's just saying, okay, so she joined the official author, Angie. Hello, Joey House One. Hello. Oh, and Steve T says yes, and Russian Caravan.
Ooh, I will follow up. Do tell, yes.
Well, I certainly and like award-winning tea place.
Crazy, because I was buying from Arbor Teas for a while.
And he says 300 varieties and 150 custom blends.
Oh, nice.
And ships to the U.S.
Awesome.
We'll talk offline about that. This is definitely so. Maybe have a new client. So Carlos has come over, it's come over to the YouTube end. It says it's like ABC and sports channels like ESPN. You are forced to have them. It's not law, but it is forced to carry certain rules.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
And he goes, Pepsi me say, and it's like you can. Carlos Phoenix says YouTube's carry cable channels, so rules apply. And Carlos has his own media network. He goes, he now offers OTT technology
Oh,
service
really?
a la carte don't have to abide unless they serve cable services. Then the rules apply again.
Ah.
So,
Oh,
Carlos,
wow.
thank you so much for that information, because I'm telling you, Carlos knows this industry. He's developed his own platforms. So he is a person that knows what's going on in this medium.
That's something. I would like to know what I
too.
need, how I can have all of my stuff without getting overwhelmed with all of these HBO Max, Apple stuff, and then Hulu and all of this stuff. It's like, which I just don't need all this many. I'm like whipping them out for the family. I'm like, we're all going to share this one. There's like, and yet it's a la carte, a lot of them, but I still got like 10 things going. It's like juggling plates.
We got to get back to the conversation topic.
Sorry.
No problem. It's all good. But a multi-person. Hey, Ray McMillan on Instagram Live. Actually, I still have to do that introduction. Ray McMillan needs to meet LaLa, because Ray does mortgages here, and LaLa's an international realtor.
Yeah.
They need to meet, so I got to do that. All right. And Indy says, yes, Carlos is a Latin thought leader. Yes, he is. I received that, and that's very true. What about anything we want to say about Don Lemon and CNN?
Well, CNN has been moving toward getting this. For some reason, they feel like they can pick off people from Fox. And so they've been moving slowly to the right, slowly to the right, center right, not even center. They've leaped over to the right. And you know this when you notice that Van Jones all of a sudden is Donald Trump's best friend, and every time they want to talk about something, it's like, something black. Oh, let's bring Van Jones on, and he makes a total ass of himself.
Oh.
And then they started chipping away at some of the other people they had, and who was the former senator or whatever, congressman or whatever that they were bringing on, the real Santorum. They're bringing on Rick Santorum.
Oh, right.
And so, and trying to see if they could fit him in and get him a show or whatever. So they've been moving that way.
That's true.
They've been moving that way for a while. But the Don Lemon thing, honestly, some people have come out and said that they believe it's because of that cast, the newscast last Friday, when he was sitting with the Indian American gentleman who he did not want to get in the conversation.
Rasmurthy or whatever.
He did not want to get in the conversation. It was what's that young girl's name again?
Poppy Harlow.
No, not Poppy Harlow. The other one, the 29-year-old one.
Caitlin
Yeah, it was Caitlin Collins trying to, instigate this and bait him into the conversation, because he was like, no. And then Don got in when the man tried to tell him about Black people having their rights after the Civil War. And Don Lemon was very right. He was right. You're not going to lie about this on this.
And he was respectful. I don't know what.
And he told them, you're lying about this because you're discounting all the other movements. And let's be very clear, he was right, because there was, if we had them, there would be no need for all these amendments that had to come afterwards and all these other laws. But what incensed people, and I think that people complained, was Don Lemon said, whatever your racial background is, or whatever it was, how he said it, offended people. But you know what? Think about it. If he had just assumed that he was Indian American, people would, and he wasn't, people would have gotten upset about that too. So there was no win there.
He's one of those Indians that somebody sent me a thing that said, what we're seeing in America is with the Indians who are coming from, Asian Indians, they had a caste system and are quite comfortable with it. Nikki Haley, Vivek, whatever, even the prime minister in England, they have a concept of they're the Indians, they're the ladder pulling ones, the ones that come, and we have many immigrants who come to this country and their family members have been ladder pulling, which means I'm not going to help anybody else get in or get anything. I'm going to assimilate.
I'm going to take the conversation forward a bit, but Steve T just wanted to tell you, Jill, they ship to England also. All right.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Indie Radio says Don Lemonade and Sucker Carlson should do a show together. Well, interesting enough, they have the same lawyer.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They have the same lawyer. So who knows? You may see that. And who would have thought a few years ago? Now, you see Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, Tucker Carlson all kicked out.
I did. As soon as they look, not Tucker so much, but as soon as they kicked off Chris Cuomo, that's when I knew Don Lemon was next.
Yeah.
Right.
Because just because of their friendship.
Yeah.
And that trade-off between the two worked.
Yeah.
This is one last thing we'll do on this conversation piece, and we're gonna shut it down on Instagram. But Blue Marine says, what do you all think of giving Gayle King and Charles Barkley a show? Seems like an odd pairing.
It is, and it's heinous.
I don't even watch Gayle King already. I can't stand her. So
no, I mean, like, why is she working? Isn't she rich enough? Like, honestly, give somebody else a chance. I mean, what foothold is she securing? For what? And Charles Barkley, it's like, you people are rich. Go enjoy your grandchildren. You're old. You've got money. You don't have to work until you're 100. Can't you just do that? What is this? You know, things are so crazy. We got Beyonce filing to go to court with the IRS here because she doesn't want to pay $2.9 million. It's like, you're worth $3 billion. What is happening? And, you know, I just see the world. We're in opposite land. Everything is opposite. But Gayle King and Charles Barkley, I can't see how that's going to be edifying, except some old shoegaze, black shoe polish gaze, whatever. I mean, shoe polish. Don't get upset now, girl. I wasn't trying to go in there.
It's going to be Amos and Andy on news.
I was saying shoegaze, like the really lazy, lulling kind of, you know, I don't know. And it's supposed to be funny, right?
What do we feel the futures are for Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson? And then we'll move on.
I think they both go away. I mean, I honestly think that, like Don Lemon said, they asked him, what do you plan on doing? He said, well, I plan on having the summer of my life with my husband and living like a 12-year-old. See, he's like, okay, been there, done that. Tucker Carlson is going to try and launch his own independent show
online
and get a rude awakening that he can't make the bucks.
I know.
Either that or he'll establish Tucker Carlson merchandise.
He's going to have to do shit like PewDiePie or all these like YouTube influencers. He's going to have to do it hanging out of a plane, or I don't know, because
maybe he'll start doing like TikToks.
Yeah, these young kids have it down. He might have to hire a few.
Indie Radio says Carlson will run for president.
Oh, no, he won't. More humiliation.
No, he won't.
Okay.
Oh.
Before we move on, we're going to shut it down on Instagram Live. Thanks for tuning in. Now, as I said before, if you want to catch State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa live, head over to YouTube like many of you have done. So, bye-bye, IG. We'll see you next time we're on, and you can follow the Dr. Vibe Show like you already are. And as Realty Goddess just said, catch us on YouTube. So there we go. Thanks, everybody, on IG. All right. We're back to the main conversation here. Regina says, hey, Regina, what's going on? Oh, says, detest all news talk shows. They're junk food with very little critical thinking, too much partisanship. Tucker and Lemon are walking away with millions. They're the equivalent of reality shows.
Although Nicole Wallace has been giving, and Ari Melber have been giving the interviews of their lives, of their careers. They've been a badass tag teaming. They've done some great journalism. The last 2 weeks have been sick because they've been like pop, 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 pop. I mean, the girl they had on the other day about the abortion, who went to Congress about them forcing her in Texas with this baby and no abortion. It was intense. Then Ari Melber sort of has been breaking this whole thing coming down with Trump and got his attorney all shook on TV. And that ended up playing into the case. So those two are still like they're legit.
The attorney tried to grab the paper out of Ari's hand, and Ari's like,
yes. I'm like, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Paul says Tucker won't have the influence independently or on Onan, but he might try to fill the Rush Limbaugh void. I can see that happening, and that's
he better try to hope. Tucker better hope that everybody who's got their Obama phone, that they start putting his show on it, because those are the only things that they don't know how to. They probably don't even own laptops. They're used to TV, and he ain't going to be the one. So they better hope that that flip phone comes with a show that links straight to Tucker Carlson, because it ain't going to happen, baby.
It's true. Jill's right. They don't do the internet. They don't do social media. They are strictly old school. A lot of them probably still have the televisions that you have to turn the dial.
Yep, and foil on their head, and they're also those foil people.
Yep, and like has the wood grain panels and things like that. Yeah. So I doubt that he's not going to get that kind of dough from them, because those are the people that will go to their landline phone and call in their donations.
All right, let's move on, please, and thank you. Next conversation topic. Women state senators cross party lines to block proposed South Carolina abortion ban.
I'm very surprised on this. I got to say, because remember, I used to work for a legislative commission in South Carolina. And the South Carolina, that's when Nikki Haley was in the state house in South Carolina.
Wow.
And I've never really seen Republican women in South Carolina take this strong of a stand. Now, mind you, it was two, I believe it was, that crossed over, which isn't, it doesn't give you a whole lot of faith. But then remember that there aren't a whole lot of women in the South Carolina
There's
state
only
Republican
6,
Party.
I believe. Yeah.
Right. And so this is like a third of the women in the state legislature on the Republican side. Now, the Democratic side has many more, but on the Republican side, to see a third of them even cross over and be like, wait, look, this is not happening. We're not voting for this. Is, one of the women was on MSNBC the other morning, and she was saying, look, the issue is we don't need men to tell us what to do with our bodies. We don't need men to protect us. They're not protecting us at all, because they're not listening. And so that part of it, I think, really, if you talk to Republican women who are not your crazy MAGA folks running around here like chickens with their heads cut off, if you talk to really sensible Republicans and she said, I am a fiscally responsible Republican on the social issues, she's like, I'm not that person. So if you talk to people who are truly fiscally conservative, when you get to this social issue, they don't like the big government, because it is the party of small government is really the party of big government. They want government to be able to control every aspect of what people can and can't do. And so true conservative women are like, no, I don't like the government telling me what I can and can't do with my body.
Yeah. It's gotten into some dark realities here. I think that Sandy Sen is her name. She also mentioned this week that, that South Carolina had just, they had gotten rid of their, in their Supreme Court, there's no longer a woman or representation. And there also was another female that was voted out, or the governor did something. But her main thing was, she's kind of open for 12-week abortion caps. And then other people who are in of her 6 of these 5 or 6 women maybe wanted a little longer. But that wasn't the issue for her. They were more like, look, we're on the same page. That part is negotiation. But she said, one thing that's important that women need to understand is that representation matters. And that's for everything. So there's not enough women in these positions. And she's encouraging them to go and run. And she said she would help people figure out how. She goes, yeah, you need money to do this, to run, but I will teach you how to get your financing and to get your donations and to fundraise. So Sandy's no joke. And she wasn't just, it was, for me, I think it was important to see this solidarity and reaching across the aisle, because the men, like she was saying, how can you make a decision about my body? We're women who have children. We've been pregnant. We all know this is not, and the men are not willing to listen to women at all. So she's basically, this is a red flag. Like, guys, women, we're in deep doo-doo. Because Nebraska blocked it as well that day. Remember, there was Nebraska jumped in, Republicans crossed the line to,
So Regina says every women's march I attended in DC had women with Republicans for Choice marching next to us. And then Regina says the volunteers at our local Planned Parenthood were Republican women. Glad they're coming out.
They have to, because they have sons and daughters. And that's what she said to, the guy, the Speaker of the House. She said, I know you have daughters, wives, somebody who's giving you what for about this. Like, I know you do. There's no way that you can't, because she was really explaining how upsetting this has been for everybody. And to be honest with you, the Republicans are making a very big mistake. They will, they did rig up that gerrymandering thing, though, for themselves to win. But young people don't seem to be too deterred, Dr. Vibe. Like the young kids who are in Congress and in these places state, they're becoming even more electrified to come up and get it done. And they now have even more of a purpose to basically get rid of old people in these positions. That's it. They said it. I saw these kids and I'm like, you know what? Bless you. Some were on Ali Velshi. I was like, go for it. Because these are the kids I've been waiting on.
Jill, I know we had so many topics. Do you want to hold off on the whole conversation about the abortion pill till next week so we can go deeper dive into it? Or do you want to talk a little about it now?
No, I mean, the abortion pill. This is just like, all I was making a kind of snarky comment, like, so, Walgreens has had 2 significant shootings of young women by security guards they killed one woman the other day, a 24-year-old, and in California, in San Francisco, and in Tennessee a couple of weeks ago, a security guard shot, and thank God this pregnant woman and her baby survived the surgery. But here's the interesting thing. So Walgreens has been putting everybody through hell with the abortion pill. And yet it's like they gave a, shoot to kill order to their security guards in their stores for shoplifting a lipstick. How are you going to freaking shoot people? What the hell is going on with Walgreens? I told you guys a few weeks back when I tried to get my prescription and this broke down, I don't know who she was, ignorant so-and-so, could tell me, you don't have the policy, your insurance. I didn't tell you to get your insurance. Talking back on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Walgreens is trash. Like, there's something dark happening there. And it's bad. It's like, I don't know. Did somebody decide to like buy it or become CEO to destroy it? Because it's dark. Like, this is bad. So that was my whole thing about the abortion pill. They don't want to like give the abortion pill, but they want to like kill and shoot pregnant women in their store over a hand cream. Like, get out of here. Everybody who's ever had a retail store knows there's one thing you always deal with and a lot for, and it's shrinkage. You always do. Just things in your budget. There's always theft. It's it. So, hey, Walgreens, if you're not going to like step it up, move on. This is not good, because actually I don't do business with them.
Okay. All right. Let's move to, I guess it's a story, but maybe it's a non-story. We got one more comment coming in here. Oh, by the way, yes. Wigmaniac says hello. Wigmaniac.
Hello.
Yes, we watched the Carol Burnett thing the other night, all of us. The Carol Burnett special, and Wigmaniac was involved in that.
I love it.
What?
Her clients, or I don't know. She's a mystery. Wigmaniac's a mystery to me.
All right. Let's go to I said, now this should have been a story, but almost like a non-story this week. Biden announces his presidential run.
Was anybody surprised? The only shocking thing about it was not even shocking. It's on par for who she is Nikki Haley saying that he probably won't live through to serve the full 4-year term. Which I'm sorry, but it makes what Don Lemon said about her not being in her prime.
She ain't in her prime, but she also doesn't have their health insurance. So, you know.
Right, she's not in her prime. He was right, but people trash him for that because Nikki Haley, Nimrata is trash. Okay, for saying that. He's got kids, he's got grandkids.
Yeah.
What if somebody said, like, and I tweeted this, what if somebody said that about her 80-year-old parents who walk around Bamberg, South Carolina, people always dogging her father, who is always wrapped in his turban, walking around, and people saying all kinds of shit about him. Yeah. I've heard it. So she really needs to stop. It's like she
has no self-awareness, Aisha.
But we know what this is.
None.
It was her plan. Apparently her strategy is to target Kamala Harris.
Yes, it is.
All of that has to do with, she's going to play up on the fears of Black women in positions of power, because she's jealous and she's afraid that if he wins a second term, Kamala's set to go forth in 20.
And she's racist.
And she's racist. She's racist, but
she's a skin bleaching racist, you know.
But the part of her that's really bothered is she knows they both have Indian American heritage, and Kamala would be the first Indian American.
She's not Indian American. Her family came off the boat.
No.
She's the first.
No, I'm talking about Kamala.
That's okay. Yeah, no, Kamala is our mother. Girl. Yes,
but that is what bothers Nikki Haley more than anything, because she always wanted to be the first, and she said this back in South Carolina, going back like in 2008, that she always wanted to be the first Indian president. So the fact that Kamala's that much closer, it pisses her off, and so she's like, okay, so how do I make her scary? And she said it what yesterday, Thursday, she said,
if you vote for him, you're voting for Kamala.
If you vote for him, you're voting for Kamala for president. And it's like, she knows how much those MAGA people hate Black women.
Yeah.
They hate Black people. They really hate Black women specifically. And that tells you what kind of racist Nikki Haley is. Nikki Haley, who wants to take pride in, I took down the flag, the Confederate flag, because no, you took it down because there was pressure to take it down because that was your colleague. And
let me tell you something. They let's not forget that the swastika is originated. The Nazis took it from the Indians anyway. So hello, it normally goes on the door. You know how I know this? Because I had these little candle holders, and they were in this really funny shape, and they're little votive candles. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I did a lot of meditation, and I was really interested in the Hindu, whatever. And anyway, it was one festival coming up, and I looked down, and the shape of these votives were swastikas. But it's not, that's just basically, it was an inversion that the Nazis took from the shape and they used it. So for what's her face, she's starting to sound as like crazy as Carrie Lake. And they need to go start a band somewhere, or go and, tell fortunes on the side of the store somewhere. Because what's interesting is everybody's tripping about these, how old Biden is. And at one point I used to be like, oh yeah, oh my goodness. But here's the deal. These dudes have some serious health care. They're in all the time. They're always, the other day they said that Jimmy Carter wasn't going to make it. And that was like 4 months ago. He's still alive. No offense. But, it's like I've seen other people dying in hospice quicker on Facebook than I've seen anybody mentioning stuff on with the presidents. They live to be very freaking old. It's not a joke. If you've got money and you're rich, somebody, I told you, Jane Fonda, how do you stay so well? She just got over Hodgkin's lymphoma. She answered the question and said, I'm rich and I have good genes, but I only have good genes because I'm rich. Yeah. And that's the truth. All these men, look, Feinstein, she survived shingles, guys. Yeah. She's 95.
In the Congress, please.
So, as much as they want to slag Biden off, this is not your papaw or your mama with her Blue Cross or Medicare. Okay, that's not. No, this is a whole different echelon of come on, let's get it on. And what's his face was eating cheeseburgers, and he seems to be just fine.
He was mainlining cheeseburgers. Okay,
exactly.
They were not allowed to put vegetables on his plate. The closest he
Rupert Murdoch is 150, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are we doing? And I saw the other day the oldest dog is 30 years old.
Yes.
So that's 200 and something years old. There's still hope. Bush, what was it? George H.W. Bush died at what, 96?
Yes, yeah. This and the Queen. This is these elderly from the silent generation. They've been through a lot, but they have incredible health care and they're rich. So stop, dumb Nikki, narrowing it down to just regular old Joe, because it isn't. They got the goods. This is not it. And she knows better.
All right. Regina says, Haley aside, Harris did not do well in the 2020 primaries. If Biden comes across too shaky, will people opt out for Cray Robert Kennedy Jr. instead?
No. Let's be very, very clear about this, Paul. It's not so much that Harris didn't do well, because when that night that she challenged Joe Biden, her donations went up. The problem was that she didn't have the money to run, and that's historic across Black candidates. Period. Black candidates end up having the least amount of money to run political campaigns. But the part about Robert Kennedy, no, people won't do that, because Democrats know at this point who RFK Jr. is, and that is by his own doing, from the whole COVID thing. And
he's thrifting. He's just making money. It's too early making money,
and his family has come out and been like, no, he's not the person. His family, they're very deep Democrats. They've got a lot of political power and pull. He's already got a nephew in Congress, as it is for Massachusetts. So
I'll vote for him if he brings back John F. Kennedy Jr. and has an interview with him.
Right. So that's been out, but also too, the word is out about the deal he made with Kevin McCarthy to run as a spoiler. That if that hadn't,
he's dirty.
If that didn't come out before he announced, and maybe came out next year around this time, then maybe it would be a problem. But for right now, people aren't checking for the Kennedys the same way that they did 20, 30 years ago, because we're getting that far removed. Remember, Gen Z has no recollection of a Kennedy being
a Kennedy.
Office.
No. And I got to say something. Does he eat gravel for breakfast? Because I can't take his fucking voice. It's like, gets on my nerves. If there's one thing, it's like, dude, go away. I can't take it. It's like nails on a chalkboard when I hear him speak. I mean, that either means that there's an issue there, or secondly, it just means like he talks all the damn time. It's like, oh Lord have mercy. He couldn't be my president, because they need to give him a different voice box.
Okay, all right.
It's gravel, but he whines.
Yeah, it's like, what are you chewing? What is happening?
All right,
what is wrapped around your cords?
Let's move on over, and
they need to fix that.
We're very blessed to have this gentleman on the conference, D. Chansonberry. For those who do not know who D. Chansonberry is, have you ever watched a movie, Dark Girls?
Yes.
Or Dark Girls 2?
Yeah.
So himself and Bill Duke produced Dark Girls.
Oh my God! Really?
And
that's
also
very cool.
he produced Dark Girls 2. He's an incredible producer. He's done about anywhere around 20 documentaries. Also, one of his closest friends is a lady named Shaka Khan.
Oh, nice.
Also has, long story short, he wrote a song for Prince, who Prince gave to Shaka.
Oh, nice.
And he's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chan, a Grammy Award winner on a production of an album by the late Phyllis Hyman.
Oh, okay.
I love her.
Well, there you go.
So to have Chanberry in the house is a wonderful, wonderful thing. A true Black Renaissance man.
Wow,
And actually, he
sounds
just,
like it.
and I'm gonna encourage people to follow him on YouTube. He's just relaunched his Chan Berry show, and his first two guests were the brothers from the Whispers.
Oh, nice.
And he's actually continuing, and I know one of his goals is to produce a documentary on the Whispers. So I think it's an ongoing project. So Chan, it is an honor and pleasure always to have you in the house. And I won't go into it, but he has actually coming up near the end, another person that he knew, but two of his closest friends. Stevie's a close friend. Stevie Wonder. Actually, when Chan, I hope you don't want me sharing this, but when Chan's mother passed away, Stevie called him and said, "Is there anything I can do
to help out?"
So
nice.
Chan, and also, I'm going to say this quick story. I'm going to do it real quick because Chan, I remember when he first came on the show a little while back, one of his good friends is a lady named Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, wow.
And what they would do every year is every day on the late Sidney Poitier's birthday, they would go over and celebrate with Sidney.
Oh, nice.
Every year. And Chan, you've said this story publicly, but I'll put it out there quick. So after they visited a few years ago, Oprah asked, "What are you doing, Chan?" Says, "Nothing. So why don't you come over to my place for lunch?" So they're chatting there, and she says, "Like, what are you up to, Chan?" He says, "Well, the life of an independent producer, and I'm trying to get Dark Girls 2 out." And she goes, "Oh, okay, well, what's stopping it?" Well, he goes, money. and she goes, "Well, Chan, how much do you need to finish the production?" He told Oprah, and Oprah pulled out a personal checkbook right there and wrote a check to finish the production.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Those are the friends you need.
Chan,
but it's better to have somebody that you get along with.
Yeah. So Chan,
who supports your dreams.
I just wanted to give your flowers because you're an incredible individual. We don't talk enough, but follow him, especially on Facebook, music, culture arts, and he's won a number of different awards from film festivals. And actually, he just did a video for Will Downing.
Oh, nice! Wow.
So I consider Chan Black royalty.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's keep it going. LaLa wanted to talk about this one. Oregon bill would decriminalize homeless encampments and propose penalties if unhoused people are harassed or ordered to leave. LaLa?
After I read that, my husband had to give me a foot rub. I am livid. I am livid over this thing. Listen, the Democrats should know better than this. We don't need this type of legislation. We need legislation to get these people homes. There's always talk of making sure that we can get them somewhere to live, but this is not doing them a service by allowing them to be in public places, not being told that they have to move. And I am very sensitive to this matter, especially since, for one, I'm a humanitarian, and two, I am a realtor. So you cannot just expect the public to accept and have to deal with what goes on with the homeless encampments and tell us that we have to accept that. No, I'm not going to accept that. What you need to do is put into a place that is going to make a solution. Now, they were talking about tiny homes. They were talking about mini villages. And not all homeless will go to those. Okay, they're not going to. It's just some that just refuse to do it. But I can pretty much guarantee you at least 50% of the people who are homeless would like to have a place to lay their head, and it won't be in somebody's park. I am furious about this. The Democrats need to step up on this and do something. Stop being a mouthpiece. Stop putting out stuff like this that makes no sense, and get something done. This is why we can't move forward. The Democrats are weak in these things, and I really would like to see them step up on housing instead of letting the Republicans come in and talk about they want to cut the budgets for the veterans. It's a well-known fact that a lot of homeless are veterans as well. So this really got my blood boiling. And I'm going to tell you, when when I first started doing my full exercise, I've lost a lot of weight. So I started right when the pandemic started. And I used to walk, and this was in LA, I used to walk and run certain areas. And as the pandemic kept going on and more homeless came out, I had to move my trails. Because you see, you're talking about not just the fact that they're homeless, but they have nowhere to go to the bathroom. They have nowhere to have their relations with their loved ones. They have nowhere to get water. They have nowhere to get a shower. And you walk past those homeless encampments, and you are also at risk health-wise for the things that you're smelling, needles on the ground, all these things. This is not going to solve the problem. I'm gonna need a drink now.
But I agree with you. I think I fully feel you. I just feel like, ages ago when you go to India, not to bring up India again, and you would see this, they had a whole philosophy of, the caste system, that's their lot in life, basically. And I feel like so many generations have started passing now that it's just the way we think about it. And I don't think that any of them are going to do anything. I think that it's just going to be like this. And it's going to be so normal to have, kids are going to school and then coming home to sleep on the street. We've seen this. This is normal. And it's not going to change. I don't see anybody doing anything. I kind of feel like I wish that Rick Caruso might have gotten in, because I haven't seen Karen Bass doing shit except talking about it. You got to be about it. And there's a lot of programs that the vets do have. I was reading this book called Hidden Influences, and not even just that, like the vets have programs and they're like, well, we sent everything out by email. These guys don't have email.
No, they don't do
and
anything.
It's all these things are, they have access to people helping getting them back on their feet. And the craziest thing is it's almost like it's just a ringer for them to not do the work, because they're reaching out and only seeing 9, they changed one word when they were, what was it in the packet? One was saying, you are entitled to this plan where you go into this place and they'll help get you some kind of whatever, education, follow-up, jobs, whatever. And, people were skeptical of it, but then they had to change the wording to something like, you earned this here. Then by changing the word was the only way. They saw like a 9% jump for them to go in and actually get things that they are entitled to. But sometimes the jargon and in the messaging, it can be a major deterrent. And I'm finding that with Karen Bass's platform, that it's the jargon in her messaging, and it ain't going to work, y'all. It ain't going to happen. It's very sad.
Well, they like to run on these platforms, but they never stand behind them and do what they say, period.
Well, here's
Garcetti just sat on his ass and his hands the whole time. He did nothing. He was perhaps, for me, like the worst mayor I've ever seen in California, Los Angeles.
But he
got scared when everybody went to his house. Yeah.
Here's the thing about this bill. It's like, okay, so we can't do the other thing that we should be doing because we can't get the money to do it. So we'll just do this instead. The problem is that you've got people, particularly on the right, who are like, oh, homelessness is this and this and this, and we got to do something about homelessness. Well, yeah, you all hold the purse strings. So sign the damn checks, and then we can do something about it. But when you sit there and say, oh yeah, it's a problem, we're not doing anything about the problem. We're not gonna pay our tax dollars for it. Well, guess what? That's how we fund things in this country. Period. We don't have any, we have no kind of domestic product that we use anymore to pay for things. Back in the South, prior to the Emancipation Proclamation, there was sugar and cotton. That's how the government did very well.
Yep.
And did very well. we don't have a product.
We are not raking in that money. You're right.
We
What was
don't
it?
have
$1
a
billion
product.
industry cotton
Right.
was.
We don't
Then,
have the product that
No.
that other people need anymore. In fact, all these other countries have products that we need. We do more importing of things than we do exporting. And so because of that, we don't have the money to provide for the things that we need for people in this country. Therefore, the only way that we have to do this is through taxes. And so then you've got people who should be paying their fair share. I pay 33% of my salary in taxes. I don't understand why Beyonce's suing to not pay $2.9 million in taxes when she's worth over $1 billion.
Right.
And so, and not only that, but she's taking in a lot of money behind this concert tour.
She's fighting over $870,000 and saying she wants it written off.
Ridiculous.
Well, quel dommage be.
It is ridiculous. And so because we don't have that money to do those things, you know, it's like, well, so what is this bill going to do? It's not going to solve the problem of homelessness. If you want to get rid of the homeless encampments, you have to fund mental health care, you have to fund health care, you have to fund housing, because housing right now is incredibly expensive. Even people who have homes are just one paycheck away from losing them.
Because of, like, look at what you're seeing advertised. You can buy for $100, invest in somebody else's fucking house and get some money back on a return. It's turning into like a fucking raffle. This is scary. Like Jeff Bezos has bought up a bunch of houses, and now they're sort of like on the stock market. What? So I can put $100 in here and do like a time. What the fuck is going on? This is why people don't have.
They started buying up all these houses. Now, I did a whole broadcast on that. These people are coming in. They're buying these houses, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
The corporations are taking them in.
They're
doing the high bidding, getting them in. Then they'll take them and they flip them and they rent them. But they're all corporations and they're buying up. So the people who are really trying to buy can't compete with them.
They can't. And that's what I'm saying about the Australians in New York. It's like, okay, like I said, when we had something once, you know, and in Paris, you couldn't just flip. You weren't flipping. You weren't allowed to make any changes that fast because they hold on to what's going on. But capitalism here will do us dirty. Like, and people only tell you half of a story here about anything, you know. So we like, even when we were going on, I just want to say this because I think I was very wrong recently when I was going against the whole, like, I don't think kids should be taking drugs for for trans kids, because drugs can hurt your body later on. You know, we don't know what they're doing. Well, guess what, guys? Guess who's been piling the drugs on their kids with puberty blockers? Gymnastics.
Yeah, I saw that.
Gymnasts and sports people, swimmers. They don't want the girls to have female bodies, so they give them puberty blockers. So yet our trans kids can't get what they need. So that they can get a scholarship. So yeah, come on. We're in this country. And so then for Oregon to default by saying, well, we're not going to do anything. What are you going to leave everybody just fucking around? Like, are you kidding? Oh, I get it. This is to lure what there? Because a couple of years ago, Oregon was on fire, right? It's a very disturbing place, in my opinion. Then that's where that Kyle Rittenhouse, didn't he go over there and kill somebody?
Yeah.
You know, this is really strange to me, what's going on in Oregon. This makes no sense. So you're going to decriminalize all this. This is all just word salad because there's something else going there, and we got to figure it out. But we need to get rid of this corporations being able to buy up our real estate. We will all be sitting out on the street, y'all. All of us.
All of us.
You know what, though? I think when you mentioned this, LaLa, in the show prep, I was thinking about what I heard yesterday, last night, coming in on Sirius XM on All In with Chris Hayes as I was driving. And they were talking about how on Fox News, they've been running this stream of this former fire chief who had been chased, quote unquote, chased by a homeless man and then beaten. What they haven't shown, and Chris Hayes showed it, was that he actually went to the homeless person with bear spray.
Bear spray. He's been doing it for years here with our homeless people. And he might have been the person, he also might be the one who shot the homeless. This guy's sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yep. And I think that's what Oregon got that from.
Yeah.
I think that's what Oregon saw that, and it's like, okay, that's a heavy lift. So let's just
but this is the problem, Aisha. It's like the country. It's supposed to be a United States. You would think, while this one thing is going on, then you have this going on, and so when you open up another law, it's like they don't think about anything through. It's just like what I want now. It's like, okay, so then you're going to continue passing a law for different kind of builders to go and create homes that are full of like toxins and poisons and VOCs, and to keep the cycle of let's make people sick so they can get back in the hospital, and let's just, it's like a nightmare here.
Well, they're already doing that.
All right, I want to push on, but there's some comments here. Regina says states are also sending their homeless people on Greyhounds to LA. And Regina has a question for you, LaLa. Do you think foreign investment in housing should be limited by law?
I do, but here's my thing about that. Where there's a law, there's always a skirt around it. So all it's going to take is for somebody to come over with a baby and have a baby in American soil, and then now
anchor babies.
Yep, then they can buy. So I don't see that is going to help the matter, because where there's a will, there's a way. But I truly do, because
you don't let people fly over when they're 7 months pregnant.
No, exactly. But there are whole communities in California, especially in the LA area, the Altadena area, all those areas up there, that there are many, many $1 million homes that are just sitting there vacant because foreign people have come in to buy them, and they're just sitting there, and they're just kind of rotting, and they're okay with that. But at some point, we need to take care of our own people and our own home ownership, period. This is why I'm so huge on education. Some people are always like, well, why do you teach so much? Because I believe that's the part that's being not taught, especially in the school. They took away home economics. They took away finance. Somebody needs to teach someone how to be able to create generational wealth that we are missing in our communities. And part of that is putting restrictions on who can come over and buy our land.
Yeah. I mean, sad to say what happened in Texas with this shooter that they're looking for. It's going to come out. He's a Mexican national.
Yes.
Like, why the fuck was he here?
I can't remember if it's Ghana or Nigeria, but one of those countries, they are advertising for Black people to come home. That's their thing.
Girl, I don't have enough degrees.
No, but let me finish this part. But it's really about the property. To buy property there, there is a waiting period before you can buy property in those lands coming from this country. And that is the thing that we do not have when it comes to these nationals coming from, like, for Australia, coming in and buying up all the property. There's not a waiting period that says, hey, you have to be here, live here, pay taxes here for X amount of time before you can buy up property the way that they're buying it up. And I think that's something that we need to probably look at.
Well, what's really bad with these banks and these corporations doing it, they're actually coming down hard on people who suffer through the pandemic, and they're forcing foreclosures.
Yes, they are.
Because they're all friends with the money and the hedge funds, and hedges are buying into it too. I feel like the United States government is doing its people a grave disservice. And they really are. They've sold out the American people in all states to do this, because these people, and then if they can't get it, then they'll have eminent domain somehow. This is really, really bad.
It was always
Last comment on LaLa.
Well, I see so many problems with what's going on with housing in the first place. And the whole thing is we're making it so unaffordable for everyone. And here's a perfect example. when Los Angeles just had the DREAM program, and I am very involved in the down payment assistance programs. And you could get up to $20,000 to help you get a home. And you pretty much need all of that plus more to buy a home in LA. They ran out of funds within 2 weeks. That's how many people need assistance now. And that's with people knowing that when they sell their home at a certain period, they have to pay back that $20,000. So you got to live in that house for the long haul for it to make a big deal. We're never going to move forward if we don't take care of our own people and encourage our own people to be able to buy in their own communities. Solid. That's all it is to it. So I encourage you, regardless. I don't care if you only can buy a condo. Some people are like, I don't want to buy a condo. Guess what? A condo is just as powerful as a single family home because it's put your foot in the door to put leverage in. So do consider this, because I'm not just saying that for a realtor, I'm saying it for myself because I've seen it for myself. We've been able to leverage our home into several other things that creates wealth for my family. And you should do it too. It's not easy. And not all things that are worth it are easy, but do it and educate yourself.
All right. We're going to move on. And one of the best ways of moving forward economically in a capitalistic system is owning a home.
Yeah.
Enough said. And you said a very important word there also, LaLa, leverage. Because when you have home ownership, you can leverage it if you know what you're doing for other opportunities to grow generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to the next conversation topic. We're running long, but it's running strong. Meta shuts down Facebook Watch Originals group, and the Red Table Talk canceled. Now, I've been reading about this, so people have to understand. Red Table Talk wasn't canceled on its own. It wasn't canceled because of ratings. It was canceled because Facebook canceled all the programs on Facebook Watch, including Steve Harvey's program.
Yes. So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, why would you do a show on Facebook Watch and like not go after like something like Hulu or Netflix that required a subscription in the first place?
I never even heard about it.
You know what? I feel like with Red Table Talk, good riddance to bad rubbish. I mean, you already punked your husband on the show. Yeah. It's like, what more damage can you possibly do to the world at this point? So I don't really feel bad for Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have other opportunities or other platforms. Same with Steve Harvey. He's got a whole judge show. So losing his show on Facebook Watch when he has a show being a judge where he's not really a judge or qualified to do that job. I mean, and he's got Family Feud. I mean, and I don't feel bad for him.
But that's 101, especially when you're in the game like we are. Okay, like when Periscope came out and all this stuff, and I had the opportunity to get into this. That was one of the main things that the group that I joined was. We called ourselves Perry Girls, and we all helped one another. We all supported one another. But one thing we always said is, hey, you need to go follow such and such on all platforms. Don't you dare just put all your eggs in this basket. And that is just simple, good business. Sure. Facebook is going to be Facebook. Meta is going to be Meta. I'm personally against them right now. I'm so sick of them. All I did was just say I was upset about a shooting that happened in Louisville. It wasn't the bank one. It was another one that happened that was just right around the corner from where my mother-in-law lives. And I was very upset. And they shut me down. So as long as you're under someone else's band and under someone's thumb, Jill, you saw it this week with Twitter. You have to make sure that you diversify yourself on all platforms until you have your own money and create your own. Period.
True.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't do Facebook, so that's why I'm like.
And here's the crazy thing, though. All the tech companies are laying off people, get rid of people, and what's happening? Facebook stock has gone up.
That's because he's been sitting down with Mr. I am a space cadet, African American Elon Musk. Them two are sitting back smoking cigars, and he's wondering, this is what you need to do. Watch. And that's exactly what's happening. They're following each other's pattern, and he's coaching him on how to do this. When it was a complete mess, when he started with these blue checks on Twitter, people getting checks and not checks, and people complaining.
I know.
Or him lying about the checks. Him going like they said. what was it? Kobe Bryant's account. They put a disclaimer there that said, "Oh, he's been a member of Twitter Blue since recently. He's dead."
Right.
So so it shows you how artificial that is for Elon Musk. But I think with Facebook, for their stock to be going up, there's something else going there, and I wonder how much of that is being inflated by Instagram.
I think it's being inflated by the feds, because everybody, Jerome Powell and all of that, I always believe that all of it's artificial anyway. I think they all, one does that is like cut bait. Look at how Elon was screwing around with his own stock. And I can't believe that he's never been held to the fire for insider trading. I'm just don't believe that they don't do it. Right. I think the guy from Moderna, the CEO, got a $400 million. He made $400 million, and I think now he's getting another billion or something as a bonus. These people, you can't tell me that they're going to be piddling around with a little stock exchange and they don't have it rigged. It's rigged.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's end up. We have a comment here. Let me make sure I catch it. Paul Katz is saying, yeah, your social media conversation, you may want to consider starting an instance on Mastodon. I've heard about that. Then no one can ban you for nothing. I've heard about that platform also. So thank you, Paul, for bringing that one. I'm going to check that one out. So we are going to start working on a community on one of these platforms. So we can create our own hashtags.
Mm.
Next
I'm not a fan of Mastodon.
Okay.
I've tried it, and I have to sit with it more.
Okay. Last conversation piece. We lost an icon this week.
Yes. And I just think that he's awesome. I mean, because he didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. And we don't have many people like him anymore. They're all leaving us. But he led a good life, and I think that he did. Very much loved in the community, and I'm sad to see his life go.
But what a great life.
Yeah. His civil rights work is, I think by the time I was very little, he was not performing as much. I'd see him from time to time on TV. I remember watching old reruns of Sesame Street.
Yeah, girl, he wasn't doing anything.
No, but his civil rights work was very prominent. It was a very
daughter was working piece. More.
Yeah, Sherry Belafonte was working more. She was modeling at that point. Mm-hmm. But he was very his civil rights work was always very prominent. That was always what I knew him for, more than his performance. I did go back and watch some of his old movies like Carmen Jones and things like that, but I really did appreciate his activism, because like LaLa said, he walked the walk. He donated plenty of money to lots of causes that needed the money to really carry forward the word of the people. And so, I will appreciate that for the long haul.
Jill, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, there's not much to add other than he lived a fabulous life. He was a wonderful human being, and, may he rest in peace.
Okay. That's how we'll end it off tonight. And another epic conversation. We're going to bring in some more comments that I didn't get to during the conversation. The ladies may want to add. Hold on here. Remember in 1985 when We Are the World song taping was running late, then they all started singing Day-O.
Yeah, that was great. That was wonderful. Great memory.
Also, we have so Cinema Canela, you're not familiar with Dark Girls movie? Where do you stream it? That's a good question. I don't know if you can stream it, but maybe when you become part of our community, we can do some research and provide you that information.
I think it's on Netflix.
It may be on Netflix. It may be.
Is it on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it is.
Or Prime Video.
Black Beauty says, someone's got a phone call coming. Thanks for updating us, Dr. Vibe. Jen says, great conversation as always. Thank you, Jen. And Bishop Rudolph McEwen. Always love listening. And thank you, Bishop Rudolph. And actually, him and his wife and a team have started a great online resource for Black Canadian mental health.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
There's questions, surveys, and it's a self-development in regards to Black mental health. So any Black Canadians, go to the Dr. Vibe show, go to Black Canada Talking broadcasts from, I believe, April
Somebody
6th.
needs to do it for Black Americans.
Okay.
He should start another offshoot.
Justin says Harry was a World War II vet. Only Tony Bennett, Mel Brooks, and Norman Lear are the famous ones left.
Wow.
That's true. Tony Bennett,
Wow.
Mel Brooks, Norman Lear. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good as always. As always, ladies, thank you for taking the time to share with us. Before we let everything go, we need to know how people can get in touch with you. So, International Realtor, you're first.
Well, howdy. You can find me on Realty Goddess on all social media platforms.
All right. Next up, Jill D. Jones.
Well, that's where you can find me, Jill D. Jones at Twitter, and then Jill Jones Music on Instagram.
Wonderful. And next up, let's go to Aisha K. Staggers.
Yeah. Aisha Staggers on Twitter, AK Staggers on Instagram.
Wonderful. And if you want to check me out, here are all the different places. Website, thedrvibeshow.com. Email dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter, @drvibeshow. Instagram, @thedrvibeshow. You can catch replays of this epic conversation on The Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also, The Dr. Vibe Show website, thedrvibeshow.com. What an epic conversation night. We went in tonight and there was things we left off the plate. And the big maniac, free Jill. Jill is free. Don't worry. She is free. She's back on Twitter. But again, we're going to be doing some work on the back channels to see if there's a place where we can bring all y'all together outside of the show where we ain't going to get banned. Is that fair? I think that's fair. All right, so let's close it off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourself grace. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good. See you next week.